I am going to present the European governance context in the energy sector and explain the European Union's ambition for energy and climate transitions. Energy is at the heart of EU treaties. For instance, back in 1951, 6 countries signed the Treaty on the Coal and Steel Community. However, the first truly integrated policies were set up only at the end of the 1990s and the beginning of the years 2000s. From that moment on, the EU has been more and more acknowledging its dependence on the importation of fossil fuels, its outdated and inefficient energy system and losses, the low energy efficiency and the poor quality of its building stock, and the risks linked to energy poverty and climate change. Therefore, in 2008, the European Commission, the Parliament, and the Member States agreed on the climate and energy package. It set up legally binding targets to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 20%, to establish a 20% share for renewable energy, and to improve energy efficiency by 20% by 2020. It was the first official policy linking energy and climate objectives. Since then, those objectives have been increased and new targets have been set up for 2030. At least 40% cuts in greenhouse gas emissions from 1990 levels, at least 32% share for renewable energy, at least 32.5% improvement in energy efficiency. Now, following the Paris Agreement ratified in 2015, the adoption of the Energy Union package and the European Green Deal, the European Commission aims to go even beyond those objectives. Europe has now the ambition to become the first climate-neutral continent in the world by 2050. For European policymakers, these objectives represent both a urgent challenge and an opportunity to build a better future for all. But let's make a small break and recall what the Paris Agreement is. The Paris Agreement was ratified in 2015 and aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5% to avoid the catastrophic consequences of climate change. It is the first ever universal and legally binding global change agreement. It has been signed by 194 countries as well as the European Union. All EU countries are signatories on their own. Still, they coordinate their positions together and set common emission reduction goals at EU level. But let's go back to the European Union. How is Europe planning to achieve its climate objectives? The Energy Union, a package of laws and regulations adopted in 2018 and 2019 as a response to the Paris Agreement, will help the EU meet its climate and energy policy goals. This package includes provisions on governance. Member states have to develop integrated national energy and climate plans. The plans cover the 5 dimensions of the Energy Union, which are energy security, solidarity, and trust, a fully integrated internal energy market, energy efficiency and the moderation of demand, decarbonization of the economy, and research, innovation, and competitiveness. Member states will report on the progress made in implementing the plans, and the European Commission will monitor the progress on the EU as a whole. This will be part of the annual State of the Energy Union report. Regarding the timeline, Member states had to submit their final plans for 2021-2030 at the end of 2019. In 2 years, the Member States will provide their updates. All this happens in line with the 5-yearly ambition cycle of the Paris Climate Agreement. The governance regulation also includes provisions that go beyond the energy sector. For instance, it updates the existing climate monitoring mechanism and adapts it to the transparency requirements of the Paris Agreement. It also sets up a monitoring mechanism for greenhouse gas emissions and climate information. All this will enable the EU to track its progress and comply with its reporting obligations under the Paris Agreement. In 2019, the European Commission decided to go even beyond and proposed also a Green Deal. This new framework should enable the decarbonization of all sectors of the economy. The Green Deal will help modernize the economy by making it more resource efficient. There should be no net emission of greenhouse gases by 2050. The Green Deal also sews together energy with the idea of a green growth and social justice, with a particular focus on building a just transition that leaves no one behind. As part of this Green Deal, the European Commission has proposed the first European climate law to enshrine the 2050 climate neutrality targets into law. It means that no European country should ever come back on its commitments. The Green Deal is at the center of the recovery plan following the COVID-19 outbreak. Europe wants the recovery to be truly sustainable, with more public and private funding invested in making it even, inclusive, and fair for all. So what's coming next? The European Commission presented earlier in July a strategy for energy system integration to coordinate the planning and operation of the energy system as a whole. It will also present a building renovation strategy and a strategy on sustainable consumption in order to make the economy circular. There is still a lot to do indeed, but what we have to keep in mind is that energy, climate, and social objectives must be addressed together in order to build a resilient, fair, and sustainable future for all. The European Union is paving the way for the member states to go beyond and setting the example for the rest of the world.